welcome to the Current Connection podcast with your host and business manager, David Caranco of the Ibew Local Union 278.
Welcome, brothers and sisters. Yeah, thanks for the introduction, John.
Yes, sir.
So, welcome to the Current Connection podcast. This is the May 2025 edition. We're going to be talking about some union updates and what's going on here at the local union. So, thanks for tuning in.
So, I guess we can start off with we have some open calls out. Is that correct?
That's right, John. Yeah. We currently have open calls to Chenier, working for two separate contractors. One of them is Big State Electric. They're currently looking for licensed journeyman electricians. And we also have Scott Electric, also looking for licensed journeyman electricians. They're also looking for high-level CWCEs as well that have the experience and qualifications that can go out there and do the work as a journeyman level electrical worker. So if you're interested in these job opportunities, give us a call at the hall.
Right on. And for those that don't have the number to the hall, you want to just kind of throw that out there?
Yeah, this 361-855-1084.
Yes, sir. And that's also on the net, right? On our website.
Yeah, that's going to be the IBW278.com. Yeah, all of our contact information is going to be all over that website page. Yes, sir.
Right on, guys. So, I mean, you're looking for a call, take a call. All journeymen, JIWs, and CWC, the upper CWCEs, correct?
Yes, sir. That is correct.
All right, just take the calls, guys. So they're there. Come on with it. Let's keep rolling. I know, you know, and I know, and everybody around should know that we got these negotiations coming around. So, with that being said, how can rank and file members get on that committee, or how are they to serve on that committee, or what's the process, or what's the deal on that?
Yeah. Like you said, negotiations are literally just around the corner. We're going to be opening up the contract. It's going to be on the table. We're going to be negotiating wages, benefits, and working conditions. So and how we want to do that is exactly how we did it last negotiation session, last bargaining session. And how we set that up, John, was we had a large committee, a large negotiating committee, which consists of rank and file members, volunteer rank and file members, because we meet here on Saturdays and we discuss what we want in the contract, what we want to propose to our NICA employers. What do we want on our contract, whether it be more money on the check, whether it be more benefits added to our health and welfare plan. What do we want, and that is crucial, and it's very vital that we get that feedback from the rank and file, because like I've said many times at our union meetings, if we don't know here at the local union what the members want, then how can we go out there and advocate for them? How can we go out there and fight for them for
Right.
what they want?
Of
So
course.
we need that continuity, and it's very essential and it's vital that we have that continuity with our rank and file. Like I said, that way we can get these proposals in order, in a priority list. What do we want most? What do we want second most?
Mhm.
What do we want third most? And that we can prioritize our proposals. And when we go to the contractors, and we can have a legitimate set of proposals that we can propose, and we can move forward from there as far as our negotiations. So,
Right on.
and to answer your question though, John, in order to serve on either of these committees, the negotiating large committee or the negotiating small committee, you have to be a member of good standing. Basically, that's it. If you're a member of good standing at IBW Local 278, you're eligible to serve. And
That's from journeymen all the way down to first year apprentices and even the CWCs.
That's 100% correct, sir.
That's awesome.
All bargaining unit members that work under our contract are invited to come to our volunteer large committee bargaining sessions, or big committee bargaining sessions, I should say.
Yeah.
So that's what we encourage. We want our members to come, and we want that feedback, and we want realistic suggestions. You know what I mean? We want realistic suggestions that we can take to the table, and like I said, we can bargain, and that's what
Yeah.
we want, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fight for a good wage increase, but on top of that, we want to know what the members are wanting, and besides just money on the check, what is it out there in the field that they feel needs to be addressed, it needs to be talked about, and it needs to be negotiated. So we look forward to that, and like I said, To answer your question, if you're interested in serving on either of these committees, reach out to me. I'm available. Monday through Friday. I'm available on the weekends. I understand a lot of our members work during the week. They work long hours. Shoot, I mean, I get phone calls Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday night, Sunday morning. I mean, it never stops. So if you're interested in wanting to serve, don't hesitate to reach out. Even if it's on the weekend, I answer my phone, and if I don't answer, I will return your phone call. I will return your text. But we encourage y'all to get involved, get engaged, and let us know what you want and what your coworkers or rank and file members are out there talking about on the field in the job sites, because that's what it's all about. We're all about improving the collective bargaining agreement that we work under, and we need that feedback. So yeah, appreciate that question.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, I mean, who doesn't want more money? Who doesn't want more paid holidays and stuff like that? So that's the kind of stuff. When you say reasonable, is the questions like that. Of course, you can't go and asking like, let me have 13 paid holidays, and that's not going to happen, right? So you got
Exactly.
to be reasonable and come out with these questions. Just be right.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what we had last time. And I just like to throw that out there because some members are kind of have a wild imagination, if you know what
Yeah.
I mean. So
Oh, I
we
do.
like we
I
just
do.
want to keep it reasonable and realistic. So yeah, we encourage members to get involved and come pitch us their ideas, because we know a lot of members have good ones.
That's good. That's good. Well, hopefully, we see some guys out here that are ready to serve on this committee and be
Yeah,
reasonable, and we can make these negotiations happen, and may the best come out of it.
for sure.
With that being said, on the last contract that was negotiated in 2023, I believe,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what were some of the main benefits at the end result of that contract?
Yeah, okay, yeah, John, because yeah, we did negotiate our last contract in 2023. It has been 2 years, so
Mm-hmm.
that contract is bound, is about to expire here at the end of August. So we are going to be going into negotiating meetings with our contractor partners here very soon, and I mean very soon. I mean we're already at the end of May. We're going to be having these sit downs in June already with these contractors. So
It's right around the corner.
that is how rapid that these things are going to kick off, and it's just going to snowball from there, because after that first meeting where proposals are exchanged, yeah, it just takes off from there, and those weeks fly by.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, at the result of our last contract negotiations, I mean, it was an historical contract that we negotiated. Not only did we get an 11% wage increase, with an additional 4 paid holidays. So that right there was the game changer, because we went literally from 0 paid holidays to 4 paid holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And let me remind you too, is that those 4 paid holidays are guaranteed to land on a weekday every single year. So every single year, our members that work under that contract, our inside collective bargaining agreement, are going to be compensated 32 straight time hours. In addition, if they do work, they'll also be compensated their double time for working on the holiday. So
Mm-hmm.
they have a potential of earning triple time. If that day, if they do work any of those 4 paid holidays as of right now, which being Memorial Day, which we just celebrated this
Just
past
did.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody just got an 8 hour paid holiday this past Monday. We got Labor Day coming up in September. You got Thanksgiving in November, and then you got the Friday following Thanksgiving in November. So, like I said, those four holidays are guaranteed to land on a weekday every single year, meaning that our members will be compensated 8 straight time hours for those 4 paid holidays every single year. Granted that you're employed by one of our signatory contractors. You can't be on the books. You can't be on our out of work books and be like,
Yeah.
yeah, am I going to get that? Am I going
Yeah.
to get that 8 hours from my contractor that just got laid off? No, you
Yeah.
you have to be employed with that signatory contractor at the time of when the holiday kicks off. And yeah, we've seen it. I mean, Monday just happened this past week. We just literally filled calls last Wednesday. So that means those guys that took those calls last Wednesday, last Monday, last Tuesday, they already should be entitled to that holiday pay. So it just depends when you get hired and what day that holiday lands on. So that was a major game changer and a major historical stride that the local made by getting those 4 paid holidays. In addition to that, John, there was another contract change that came up that a lot of people did notice, and that was the 16-hour continuing education. Okay, now this was something that was proposed by the contractors. I want to say many years ago. It was before the the state licensing came up with the 4 hours continuing education, where our members are mandated in order to renew their license, whether it be an apprentice or journeyman, that they have to take that 4 hours continuing education.
Right.
So, with that being said, since our members are already obligated to take that 4 hours continuing education, and those 4 hours of continuing education are 9 times out of 10, it's significant changes within the NEC, the National Electrical Code.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, 4 hours already being mandated by the state, was is already more than enough than our members need in order to keep their license. So we felt like those other 12 hours were unnecessary. So we fought for that. We fought for that at the bargaining table. The contractors wanted to keep it in there, but like we told them, I mean, they weren't even really enforcing it.
Right.
It was kind of just in there, and it wasn't really being enforced. So we proposed to do away with it. At first, they didn't want to, but then they came around and realized, yeah, you know what, the 4 hours is good, as long as our employees, which are our members, are continuing to keep up with their license and it doesn't expire, it doesn't lapse. We're good with that. So yeah, that was a big improvement, especially for our older members. Our members that have been around for 10 plus, 15 plus, 20 plus years, that known that has been part of our contract, and it was a nuisance,
Yeah.
and we did away with it. So and it's gone. So no longer are our members going to be obligated to do those extra 12 hours of continuing education.
Right on.
Yeah, and then another thing that we were able to prevail on in this last contract was the health and welfare contributions made on behalf of apprentices. Okay, so before when apprentices, pre-apprentices, unindentured apprentices, first year apprentices would take these job training assignments, uh, they weren't the contractors, the employers weren't obligated for the first 3 months or 90 days. They weren't obligated to pay the health and welfare contribution, which is $1.60 per hour. Okay, that the $1.60 per hour was not being contributed on their behalf for the first 3 months.
Okay.
Okay, so that was another thing that we fought for and that we got and we prevailed because ever since that contract, they agreed, okay, day one, our apprentices are going to get their contributions. That way, just like everybody else, whether they be a journeyman or they be an apprentice or CWCE, on the fourth month of working, you'll have coverage. Okay, so as before, it took them 3 months to get the first contribution paid.
Mm-hmm.
So it they didn't have any contribution. So it literally took them 7 months to get coverage. 3 months because there was no contributions, and then the 4 months once the contribution started for it to kick in.
Mm-hmm.
So it literally took 7 months for the apprentices to get coverage. Now this became an issue because I was coming to find out that some of our apprentices or some of our I'll say more older apprentices that more that have families and dependents that aren't just single and individuals that just have to depend on themselves. We're talking about the older generations that did career changes, that changed careers, that became an electrical apprentice because it was a career improvement from
Mm-hmm.
the career they had before. Of course, maybe they had to take a pay cut at first to get to their journeyman status, and then the real success was going to kick in. But those were the apprentices that were concerned about the health coverage because they had dependents. They had wives, they had kids, and they were changing careers from whatever what they were doing before to being an electrical apprentice. And it was very important to them, and that they understood our healthcare coverage and when it kicked in and when the contributions were being paid. So that was one thing that we did fight for because again, we had these committees and they addressed us. We had meetings. They told us it would be a good thing if we got these contributions on day one. What do? We went to go fight and we got it done. That is why it's important to have these committees that we get the feedback from the members. That way we can know what to fight for.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I mean, hands down, the last contract that we got was historical. I mean, we really did prevail. But and we're gonna do it again. We got these contractors, we got these and all this work that's coming up in our market in our jurisdiction, and manpower is very very limited. So we need to increase our wages to attract more electricians that want to take and help us man our work.
Hmm.
It's just the bottom line,
Right.
and so we have the leverage on our side. What we need is solidarity, we need unity, and we need good ideas. We need good feedback. I can't stress that enough, John. We need good feedback. We need continuity with our rank and file members that are out there in the field, that are out there on the job sites, roughing it in, that are having to deal with the working conditions. And like I said, we need that feedback, and we want it because, like I said, we want to advocate for everybody, but we can't do what everybody wants unless y'all give us that feedback, guys.
Yeah, for
Can't
sure.
stress it enough. So, like I said, if you're interested in serving on the negotiations committee, just reach out to the local union, please.
Hey, and just real quick, I know we were talking about the health and welfare contributions. Who's responsible for the difference? Would it be the members or would it be the contractors?
Oh, another good question. Okay, so when it comes to the contributions for the health and welfare package, shoot, man, we have one of the greatest benefit packages that a lot of other local unions, a lot of building trades unions don't have, especially because of what we pay for our wage benefit package. It's $6 per man hour, and this is for the main plan for journeyman electricians, $6 per man hour. But I mean, you're looking at other plans and other local unions; they're paying $9,
Oof.
$10, $11 per man hour, bro. And
Man.
you have to always consider that when you're talking about negotiating for wages and benefits,
Hmm.
because whether you like it or not, those funds are being contributed by the employer per
Right, right,
hour,
right, right.
and that's the way they look at it. It's a per hour expense, whether it be a tangible benefit or an intangible benefit. A tangible benefit is actually money and dollars you can see, you can spend it. It's going to be there when you retire. An
Hmm.
intangible benefit is something that you're never going to see and you're never going to get back, like the JATC contribution, for
Hmm.
instance. That's one. Per man hour, all of our all of for every man hour we work, 55 cents per man hour goes to the JAT contribution. That
Hmm.
doesn't go into any member's pocket. It doesn't go to any member's bank account. It goes towards the JATC. Okay, now it is a benefit for the JATC, and that's what the members are. That's what the whole purpose is, so that we can improve our training and keep all of our apprenticeship needs going.
Right.
But it's an intangible benefit because, like I said, it doesn't go directly to the member in the member's pocket. They can go buy a cheeseburger with whatever that is. It doesn't.
Yeah.
That's what an intangible benefit is. I just want to explain the differences.
Right, right, right.
Tangible benefits, you're gonna get it. You're gonna see it. You're gonna spend it. Intangible is it's gonna benefit the organization that you belong to, but it's not gonna go in your pocket.
Right.
With the health and welfare contribution, whenever an increase does occur, it occurs from both parties. It's in our collective bargaining agreement. It's a 50-50 split. So if our contributions increase by 20 cents, hypothetically, let's just say they increase and this date is going to be in a year from now, and say May 31st, 2026.
Yeah.
It's going to increase 20 cents. Okay. So that means in May of next year, our first paycheck in August, we're going to see a 10-cent deduct on our check because of the fact we had to put half of that 20 cents into that contribution to
Mm.
make it fair. And that's what is stated in a collective bargaining agreement. Any health and welfare contributions increases shall be split 50-50 between the parties. And that's exactly what that means. And I know some people would understand what I'm talking about because if you've been a member here for longer than 6, 8, 10 years, you know sometimes we'll get a check, and then the next week it may be for a nickel or a dime less than it was the week before. That is because our health and welfare contribution was increased.
Hmm.
Uh, that being said, me being business manager for this local union 278, I also sit as a trustee on the health and welfare committee, and you're privy to inside information being on that committee. And we have a voice and a vote. That's something that was historical for our local because since that plan was formed, uh, we've never had representation as a voice in a vote. Yeah, we were an interested party because our members were participants of that plan, but we didn't have a voice in the vote at the table like we do now. But
Hmm.
with that being said, John, the last meeting that we had in back in February, there's already a discussion being had about a possible increase coming up to that health and welfare plan. And it's important to keep this in mind, especially knowing that our contract negotiations are coming up, which they could, it's going to be hand in hand,
Yeah, yeah.
So it's very important that we're transparent with our rank and file members. We want everybody to be on the same page. We want everybody to know what's going on. And the last thing that we want is anybody to feel like they've been blindsided by anything, especially with the health and welfare contribution
Yeah.
increase. So, and that's the purpose of the whole, this whole podcast, the whole newsletter, our union meetings. We're trying to get the information out to our members so that they're well informed and they can make better decisions whenever it comes to union business. So,
Right on.
definitely, man. And then these are some good questions. I'm glad we're able to talk about these topics, because it's very important that the members are aware of all of this stuff.
I know. I know. Here, just a minute ago, you mentioned collective bargaining. Um, can you get a little like kind of touch up on that just a little bit to kind of give the members what it is on as far as collective bargaining?
Yeah, so that's basically when we were negotiating our contract. So for most of our members here, they get in our apprenticeship program, they get a training assignment, they become members of our union.
Hmm.
But for other unions, how collective bargaining really works, I mean, for all unions, how it works is, unions have a right to choose and elect their own leaders. Okay, those leaders that they elect represent the members, and they're the ones who bargain and negotiate on their behalf at the table. And like I said, we have all this in place already here at IBW Local 278. We have a business manager, we have a president, we have an executive board, we have officers that are in place, and we have our meetings, and we announce that we're looking for negotiating committee members that want to help, that want to serve, so that we can come up with proposals.
Oh,
And that's what it is. We come up with proposals. The contractors come up with their own proposals. Believe you me, the contractors are having their own meetings amongst themselves, probably right now, right as we speak. Who knows? Maybe earlier this morning. But they're having their own meetings, and they're talking about their feedback from each other and what they want to see in this upcoming contract. So that's what we need to do as well with our rank and file members, is we need to get that feedback. We need to get on the same page. That way, when we go to the table, the union officers, the ones that are on the small negotiating committee, they know what to advocate for. They know what to fight for. They know what the members want the most. Like I said, we prioritize the list and we rank it. This is what we want the most. This is what we want the second most. This is what we want the third most. And we take it from there. And then while we're having these meetings, we caucus. Okay, hey, let's take a time out. And then both of the parties split. The union goes and they meet in their room, and then they caucus, they talk. Hey, what do you think about their proposals? Oh man, I think this, and we discuss it. And then the contractors, employers, they do the same. They caucus, they talk about our proposals. They talk about how they want to counter our proposals, and that's what collective bargaining is. Whenever you bargain collectively, because they're collectively bargaining on behalf of the employers, the NICA contractors,
right.
and we're bargaining collectively on behalf of the members of IBEW
IBW.
278.
Yes, sir.
And that's what it is. We're trying to come up with a language for our contract that we're all going to work under, and that we're all going to have to abide by, so that moving forward, that our our industry, there you go, our industry improves,
Right,
and
right.
our relations improve with labor and management. And that's what it's all about, man. That's what union collective bargaining is. And it's a very great thing, because there's a lot of people that work in this country that don't have that.
Hmm.
And it's one of the great things that unions did for our country. Collective bargaining. The Labor Relations Board, the Labor Relations Act, the National Labor Relations Act. So all of these things are because of labor, and to protect the best interests for labor and labor unions that basically represent the working class, middle class. And it sucks to say, man. These days in 2025, the middle class, it seems to be shrinking. It just seems to be shrinking more and more. That's a whole other topic for a whole nother podcast. But
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
We really need to stick together as a local union.
Yep.
As a brotherhood, as a sisterhood, whatever you want to call this. We are a united labor organization. We need to stick together, and we need to let the contractors know that we're going to stick together no matter what. And that's very important, because the last thing that we want is our contractors to think that we're divided. Because then, what do they think? They think that they can have the upper hand on us, but
Yep.
that's not the case.
Nope.
We are a union, and we're always going to stay united, and we're always going to have solidarity. So I want to just remind everybody that we encourage y'all to serve if you're really interested. Come give us a holler if you're interested in that negotiating committee spot.
Speaking of reaching out, I know we do have this co-training director position also available.
Yes.
If you want to kind of touch up on that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up too. I almost forgot. Yeah, so we're currently accepting resumes, applications of anybody who's interested in the co-training director position. So if you have any passion for teaching and wanting to teach, or just a passion for trying to help the next generation, help train the next generation of electrical workers. It doesn't have to be in the classroom. You can help us by doing things that's in the co-director's training position that is available right now, because there's so much modernization that we need to do. There's so much things that we need to get ahead on, and we need the help. And we need the help of a candidate that's going to put forth the effort, because whenever you do this type of work, we're not running pipe, we're not pulling wire, we're not setting gear, we're not setting transformers. We're doing a different type of work for the labor cause. It's a labor movement. And for our apprenticeship, it's the cause of for the training, for the future of our program. We are transitioning from a 5 year to a 4 year.
Mm-hmm.
And with that transition, we're going to need some assistance. We're going to need more help, because we're going to be going to this craft certification, performance based evaluations, what we've talked about in previous episode, where our apprentices are going to be required to demonstrate their hands on skills, that they have the minimum skill set of what a first year should have before they advance. They'll have a minimum skill set as a second year should have before they advance, and so on and so forth. And then they should have a minimum skill set when they turn out of our program as a licensed journeyman electrician.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what the craft certification uh, performance based evaluations are going to do for our apprenticeship program. But with that being said, we need help. We need somebody to come in here and to help us implement these upgrades. That's what this is. This is upgrades to our apprenticeship program, and we need assistance from the right candidate, from the right applicant that wants to come in here and who wants to help us get our training program, improving. And there's always room for improvement in everything. And we're wanting to improve our program. We're wanting to turn out a better product of union electricians, and we need help doing that. And we're searching for the right candidate for this co-training director position. So even if you're just a little bit interested, I mean, don't hesitate to draw up a resume. We encourage you to put your name in the hat and come talk to us. Because even though you might not get the job, I mean, you might have some good ideas, and you might have some great ideas that we can work on and get implemented into our program. But we'll never know if you don't put your name in the hat,
Yep.
and that's what it takes,
Yep.
So we encourage anybody that's interested, especially our rank and file journeyman electricians. Please, if you're interested in wanting to help train and educate the next generation of electrical workers for the IBEW Local 278, throw your name in the hat. Draw up a resume and come talk to us. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. So yeah, we really highly encourage our members to definitely consider that position.
Now there is a deadline for this. I'm seeing it's June the 30th. I'm seeing the deadline for that. Is that correct?
That is correct. June the 30th. So we're approaching the end of May. So I mean, we got about a month, a little bit over a month to draw up a resume and submit it. Get your name in the hat. That way we can reach out and we can schedule you for an interview. And we can talk to you, and you could pick our brain, we could pick your brain, and we'll see where that road takes us.
I know we say it's just around the corner, right? The older we get, I feel like those 30 days feel like 3, 4 days.
I know.
Be
I
sure
know.
you guys, June 30, man. Make sure get those submissions in and all your resumes and stuff like that. And let's get this new generation. Let's get them out there and working.
Yeah, yeah. We wanna advertise our new shirts that we got going. I think we got
I
one right here
think
in the
David has a
studio.
few seconds where he's gonna get up. I can go. So we got these new dry fit T-shirts that we want to kind of show you guys. That way, maybe if you're interested, I'm gonna let David model it out for you guys. There he is. We could throw all the whistles later. There you go. Yeah. So the front's the same as the teal or turquoise or whatever color you want to call it, but the front's the same as the is that color, and of course the back is the same as the other color. So it's just the same thing. It's just two different color shirts.
Yeah, and it's a dry fit polyester.
Oh yes, it is a dry fit. So there are some with hoods and there's some without hoods. So all you fishermen, get them while they're hot. They just came out the press. So if you're interested, come on by the hall. We got some here for you. We got, I believe, small all the way to I want to say 4X.
Yeah.
The shirts, the sizes that I was looking at here when I was sorting them out. I want to say the smallest was small, of course, and then the largest was a 4X. So little man to big man. Yeah, we got them here. So if you're interested, come on by the hall. We got a few here. That's all I got, Dave. I don't know if you wanna close it out with however you want, bud, but that's what I got.
Yeah. So in closing, John, I really would like to pay tribute to some members that we just lost this past month.
Oh yes, 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 yes.
Yes. So back in April, we lost two of our members.
Mm-hmm.
April the 28th, Johnny Johnson, 68 years old. He was a 13-year member. May he rest in peace. And we also have William D. McKinnon. He was 71 years old, and he was a 45-year member.
Wow.
May he rest in peace. May both of these brothers rest in peace.
Yes, sir.
And if you haven't gotten caught up on your death benefits, we highly encourage all of our members to pay their death benefits. If some members don't pay their death benefits, then that month, whoever passed away, their beneficiary will exactly be $5 short.
Yeah.
So it's a per member per pay benefit. So it just sometimes we'll have a month where all we'll have just coincidentally most of our members pay their death, so their beneficiary will get a larger check than let's just say 2 months down the road. Some of our members are behind on their death. Well, then their beneficiary is not going to get such a large check if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's per member per benefit per death is how these benefits are paid out.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, we just encourage and we implore our members just to be current and up to date on their death benefits, please.
Yeah.
We certainly understand some of our members go through financial hardships. Of course, we understand, but if we got to remember our beneficiaries. The whole point of the death benefit is to help the families in need for the funeral expenses. So just keep that in mind, and also keep in mind if you're not current on your dues at the time of your death, then there's no benefit that gets paid out by the international or the local union. So you want to always keep that in mind as well. We just want to stay in good standing with the local union, especially because
Yes,
of the benefit eligibility. But just keep that in mind, everybody. And I really want to appreciate everybody that tuned in for the May episode. Stay current, stay connected.
stay tuned.